welcome to Democracy for America's Movie Night Planning Webinar. Thank you so much for hosting a movie night with us. This video will give you the information you need to host a great movie night. I'm Jessica Carter, DFA's Organizing Manager, and I'm based in Jackson, Mississippi.
Hey folks, my name is Mary Shimmer. I'm DFA's Organizing Director based in Raleigh, North Carolina. We are so excited to be working with you on movie nights. And as you have probably figured out, a movie night is a member-hosted screening of a film that's relevant to our progressive organizing that includes a discussion of the issues that are raised by the film and then either an action that we take at the event or an action plan that we create together. So what we are going to talk about today is some context from Jessica about the movie nights themselves. And then I will talk a little bit about some basics for planning a great screening. Jessica will share best practices for recruiting your guests, and then we'll wrap up with some facilitation tips to make sure that your event runs really smoothly.
Democracy for America has a very strong membership who are energized to fight against the hate we've seen in just a few months after Donald Trump was elected to the presidency. The billionaires and bigots in office right now target the most heinous policies at the most vulnerable communities. Hosting a movie night is a way to build community at such a critical time, while simultaneously discussing pressing issues and strategizing where we should go from here. In the past, we've shown Selma, Immigrants for Sale, and Pursuing the Dream, and discuss what needs to be done as immigrant and communities of color are targeted each day. There are 3 goals for the movie screenings each month. First, we want to build a stronger offline community so we can continue to resist together. You will meet people at a DFA event that you may not have ever met otherwise. What better way to get to know your neighbors, coworkers, and future friends in the resistance? Second, we want to have important conversations about racial justice and white supremacy. We know that Trump and his cronies are the product of generations of white supremacy, and we must remember that people of color have been leading the fight for justice since the beginning. Third, we want to identify more people to join our movement and build a local activist network. Movie nights are a great low-key event for people who might be new to activism, so invite your friends and neighbors to join you. These movie nights are part of our local activist network. DFA's amazing offline organizing community. Democracy for America got its start because passionate and committed activists share a vision of a stronger, more progressive Democratic Party that ran on values like justice, fairness, and equity, rather than running from them. Since 2004, DFA members have worked hard to elect local progressive champions at all levels of office, to train and engage grassroots activists, and to hold elected officials accountable on the issues that matter. Today, we face the dual challenges of an incompetent fascist in the White House and a Democratic Party struggling to put resources in the right place and make the changes we need to take our country back. In 2017, we have 3 critical goals. First, resist Trump's agenda of hate at every possible opportunity. 2, build and strengthen a powerful resistance. And 3, start now to recruit and support progressive champions to run for every level of office in 2017, 2018, and beyond. While some DFA groups have been active since 2004, and some are just getting started, many of our members are longtime activists who are also active with Indivisible, Our Revolution, and other local resistance efforts. And some of our members are looking to get connected to resistance efforts in their community or to get something new started. Our hope is that you and your guests will have significant discussions around the issues presented in the film and begin to meet again to take action together. For today, we want to say thank you for stepping up to host.
Awesome. So the key to hosting a great movie night, your checklist is pretty simple. You'll need your online host tools, which were sent to you via email. A facilitation guide that you'll receive from us and will be available via your host tools. And you'll need a phone for recruiting and confirming your guests. So it's pretty straightforward, and you're probably all set by the time you're watching this video. We are going to dig a little bit deeper into some of the best practices for having an awesome movie night.
So let's talk about how we're recruiting our friends, neighbors, and local DFA members for these screenings. There are 3 simple steps to ensuring a great turnout for your event. First, you want to grab a pen and a piece of paper and make a list of the people to invite. Remember that about half the people you invite will be able to come, and about half the people who say yes will actually show up. So make a big, big list. Think about neighbors and friends, family members who live locally, parents from your kid's soccer team or scout troop, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. For each person on your list, make a note of how you'll invite them. It might be a Facebook message to reach most people, while others might prefer an old-fashioned phone call. Second, we want to use your online sign-up tool to ask people to RSVP. Each host has a unique RSVP link to your event. Look for the email from us with a subject line, "Please confirm your screening." The confirmation link in that email will take you to your host tool where you can edit the event, copy the RSVP link, and message your guests. This link works for both public and private events, so no worries there. We will use our national email list to invite people to these events, but we want you to take this opportunity to connect your personal and DFA network. You can also create a Facebook event if lots of your contacts are there, but we recommend asking folks who sign up on Facebook to RSVP on our site so all your guests are in one place and you can contact them easily. Third and final, reminder calls are the best way to make sure you have a great turnout. The night before your screening, call everyone who has said yes. Tell them you're excited to see them, confirm their location, and see if they need directions. You can also ask them to bring a snack or any supplies that you might need. Reminder calls build momentum for your event, personal connection to your guests, and will help you to know how many people to prepare for.
All right, thanks, Jessica. So let's take a tour of the host tools that you have available. Again, every person who sets up an event through our website has access to their own personal host tools. So you can see this is for an organizing meeting sample, but they will look the same for a movie night. So the first thing that you see below the event title is the event details, the location, the date and time, a description of the event, and then some directions and notes to attendees. Where next to event details, it says edit, because if you need to make any changes, you can do that at any time. You don't have to go through us. So maybe you had more RSVPs than you thought you would, and you want to have this at a neighbor's house who has a bigger TV than you. You can absolutely change the location and message your guests through this site. You can also add a note to attendees or update the directions to the event if that's helpful. Below that information, where it says sign up link, that link has a unique 4-digit code that corresponds to your event. So if you're posting on Facebook, sending emails, sending this out to a listserv, this is the link that you want to use so people can go directly to the sign-up page for your event. Below that, you can see that there are 2 attendees signed up for this event so far. And we can email the attendees through this website. We can remove someone if someone accidentally signs up twice, for example. And we have the ability to make anyone a co-host. So you can see Catherine Schimmer has signed up there. She's my mom. So if she was going to help me host my event, I could easily check the box next to her name, make her my co-host, and she would also be able to access these tools to help me with confirmation calls, to message guests, and to track RSVPs. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that you can invite friends through Facebook or email through our website, or through this page, if that's helpful. So you can actually post directly on Facebook and it will use the unique sign-up link for your event. So you don't even have to copy and paste. And finally, this little gray box here that says Manage Event is where you can, where we'll post some of the tools like a resource guide or facilitation guide. The links will show up in that Manage Event tool. And that covers your host tools. Where you can find them. When you signed up to host a movie night, you got an email back from us that says, confirm your screening of movie title. And it had a bright yellow link that you followed to confirm that you're a real human and you really want to host an event. That link will always take you back to these host tools, so that's the best email to find. about follow-up plans, which maybe less than intuitively we want to plan before our event actually happens. So the main thing that you want to think about with your follow-up plans is being prepared to collect contact information and to help people stay in touch after the screening. Those are kind of the two main things that we're trying to do here. So how to do this? First, you want to be prepared to collect people's emails and phone numbers. It's really good to have more than one way to contact people. Some people are email people. Some people never check their inbox, and vice versa with phones, right? So have a sign-in sheet at your movie night and make sure that it has a space for people to fill in both pieces of information. Not everyone who arrives may have RSVPs through our website, so we might not have that information. For example, someone might decide to bring their friend or their roommate at the last minute. So having a sign-in sheet means that you know for a fact that you've got the correct contact information for everyone in the room. Second, use the time while people are all together in one place to make a plan for another meeting. For example, if you're planning on hosting a DFA resistance link-up in the next month, you can invite people and ask them to mark their calendars while they're there at the movie night. You may plan to get together for a local action, like a petition delivery at a senator's office or to attend the next march that's happening locally. It's much easier when you're all sitting around in the living room or in the function room at a library, wherever you happen to be, that everyone can pull out their phone and their calendar and make plans together rather than wait until people have scattered and then try to reconnect and re-coordinate with everyone's schedules. Third, you want to be prepared to set up a communication plan so that you can stay in touch between meetings. Some groups, people might choose to set up their own Facebook group. Others might say, oh, well, you know, the resist group in our town uses Meetup already, so we're all just going to join that group and stay in touch with each other that way. There's lots of great opportunities and great tools out there. The main thing that you want to do is not set yourself as host up as the communication hub, right? So you don't want people to have to email you to say, oh, can you please tell Bob, Cindy, Susan, and Ron about this next event. Make it so that everyone can tell everyone what's going on. So talk to people after your screening and find out how they'd like to keep in touch with each other. Finally, we want to be in a mindset of always building and growing the resistance, of always recruiting more people to get active with us, because the more people that we have, the louder our voices are and the bigger impact we can have. And with so much on the line, we really can't afford to have anyone sitting on the sidelines. So take a couple minutes before you break up and say, who in this room can think of one person or two people who should be here, who would have really enjoyed our screening and discussion, who are well-connected and would have lots of great ideas for what we can do, or who are brand new to resisting and to activism, but really should get involved. And then ask people to pull out their phones and text that person or those two people and invite them to the next meeting or event that you all just scheduled together. So always be recruiting and thinking about who should be here, who is not here right now. So just as a quick recap, the main things that you need for your movie night are those online host tools, a facilitation guide that you'll receive by email, and a phone to make recruitment calls and those confirmation calls. But really taking the time to think through what the tools that you need and your follow-up plan is going to make sure that you are able to relax and enjoy your event, to participate fully in the conversation, and that all of your attendees feel like they had a good time and also that the event was effective. And that's the key thing to getting people involved for the long term, is that they feel like they're enjoying themselves and that their time is being used well.
Great. Thank you, Mary. So now we're going to talk about facilitation tips. And we want to get you set up to facilitate your event as best possible. So first, we want you to always start with introductions. And so that we can make sure everyone knows who else is in the room and feel more comfortable. And also acknowledge as a group that conversations about race are difficult, but they must happen in order to dismantle white supremacy.
Okay. Next you want to make sure that you set community agreements or expectations before you begin your conversation. When we say community agreements, we basically mean like just rules of the road that will help everyone fully participate in the screening and the discussion that follows. So we have a couple of examples here, but one easy one is just to agree as a group that only one person speaks at a time, and that we together will not interrupt anyone or carry on side conversations while someone is sharing their thoughts.
One way to help with this is by doing our third tip is ask your guests to say their name before speaking. So you'll get to know everyone's name, and also try to use people's names when calling on them or referring to something they said.
Definitely helps to make everyone feel present and seen in the space when they're addressed by their name, particularly by their host. So also, we want to suggest that you ask at least one question that everyone responds to. There's always one person in the conversation who has tons of ideas and thoughts to share, and that person can sometimes dominate the conversation. So if you have a question where you say, let's just go around and share our initial thoughts about the film, or something simple like that, it helps to break the ice. It means that everyone's voice gets heard. And for someone who might be a little bit shy about kind of jumping into a conversation, it can help them to feel comfortable because they've spoken out loud. So asking a simple, straightforward question that everyone answers can be a really great way to do that.
Another tip to make sure everyone's voice is heard, even the folks that are shy and shy about speaking out during your event, we suggest you use the 3 and then me rule. Each person who speaks should allow 3 people to contribute to the conversation before they speak again. This will allow everyone to have some portion of the meeting and to voice their opinions and ideas very, very widely.
Totally. It can also be a good practice for folks who have a tendency to speak up and out a lot, to actually take the time to intentionally step back and listen. Great.
Also, one tip that we have is to review any action items and who is responsible for them at the end of the screening and the discussion. So this way you can plan accordingly and everyone knows which action item they're responsible for, if any, and anyone who wants to get involved can volunteer at that point as well. All right, so now let's talk confirmation calls. We know it's really frustrating when you plan and prepare for an event and no one shows up. The best and easiest thing you can do to make sure people show up is to call them the night before. This is a very short conversation where you let them know you're excited to see them and make sure they have the information they need, like your address and any directions that they might need as well. These calls actually serve 3 purposes for you as a host. First, they remind people who may have otherwise forgotten you invited them to your movie night. 2, they make people feel more accountable. Once they've spoken to you, they're more likely to feel like you're expecting them. And 3rd, they allow people who really aren't going to show up to let you know the night before so you can adjust your plans accordingly.
So we know that calling people that you don't know can be intimidating. So we wanted to quickly demonstrate how quick and easy these calls can be. So Jessica is going to play our host, and she's going to call me, one of her attendees before her movie night. And again, as Barack Obama showed us in the last slide, she's going to let me know she's looking forward to seeing me and confirm movie night details. You ready, Jessica?
Yep. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is Mary there?
Yeah, this is Mary.
Hi, Mary. This is Jessica Carter. I'm hosting a DFA movie night screening in Jackson tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Did you hear the latest about the police officer who was charged with murder for killing and murdering a 15-year-old boy that was on his way home?
Yeah, that was down in Texas, right?
Yes, it was. I'm really glad we'll be getting together and talk about stuff like that because we really need to. The screening is at my house at 1137 Broad Street near Memorial Park. Do you know where that is?
Actually, I do. You're right around the corner from me. Is there anything that you'd like me to bring to help out?
Well, thank you so much for asking. I'll have wine and soft drinks, but could you bring some pens and paper so people can take notes?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like some extra legal pads. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay,
thank you.
I can definitely do that.
Sure. Great. I'm also asking everyone to bring a friend because the more people we have, the stronger our movement will be. Is there anyone you'd like to invite to come tomorrow?
Actually, now that I think about it, I would love to bring my sister. I got her to come out with me to the Women's March back in January, and ever since then I've been trying to get her more active. I think that this film is one she would be really interested in. So I'll call her tonight and see what she's up to tomorrow.
That's great. What's your sister's name?
Her name's Julie.
Okay, great. I'll put her down as amazing, and I'm really excited to meet her. And I'm also really glad that you're coming. I'm also married.
Thank you. I'm excited, and I really appreciate you stepping up to host for us.
Of course. I think it's much needed right now. And I'm excited to see you tomorrow at 7.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. So, super simple. Thank you, Jessica. That was a great example of our confirmation call.
Thank you. Confirmation calls are really, really simple, but we also understand that it's a little uncomfortable at first, but it's such an effective tool for making sure your guests show up. So let's recap. The keys to successful recruitment are getting a friend or two to help you out, casting a wide net, and using your online tools to manage RSVPs, and making confirmation calls the night before, just like Mary and I provided you with an example of how that goes. So we're really looking forward to hearing about your event, your movie night, and we hope that this has been very helpful, especially the role play confirmation call.
All right. So that's it for today's content. Of course, if you have questions about this upcoming movie night or anything else, we are here for you. We set up a website for tools and resources, and it's called D4A.link/HQ, and it's the Local Activist Network headquarters on our website. So that's a great place to look for tools and resources. And if you have a question that hasn't been answered yet, you can email both of us by using organizing@democracyforamerica.com.
Thank you, everyone, and we hope you have a great movie night.
Thanks. Bye.